Last time on The Pulse.
And they was drinking Hennessy. Who do that on the first date?
You literally
drink Sprite. Bill, you look young and old at the same time. Did you see Joe Biden at the Juneteenth celebration?
Listen.
Nice blazer shirt combo.
I appreciate
like
it.
that.
It's hot, so the sleeves are kind of short.
And now, on The Pulse.
This white lady, she came in the room and she was like, Finesse? I said, that's close enough. That's me. You lucky to be in my presence, Bill. You don't call no shots here. There's a Sesame Street character with the eyebrows, Bill, that you have. But those eyebrows say confidence. If you got fired, come see Bill. He'll fit you for a blazer.
It's part 2 of a hilarious discussion with comedian Finesse Mitchell.
So yeah, but go ahead. So yeah.
I don't even remember the question. Talk about all the different steps. You had comedy night. You won so that you could pay for the ladies' meals. Went forward.
I didn't know those ladies like that. We were just paying for us. But, you know.
But they got to ride the wave.
Yes, absolutely.
You still know them?
Yeah. No, I do not.
They're not still around?
No, I do
You
not.
stopped paying for linguine?
Yes.
When did you get the break? When did you know that this was a career and not just trying to make it a career?
BET Comic View.
Okay.
When I got my shot, I was an alternate. Just wasn't booked. I was an alternate. So I was sitting in a room with a bunch of other comedians hoping that somebody got sick or waiting for a miracle. And sure enough, the host, Ricky Smiley, got into an altercation with one of the comedians who was on that day. And Ricky said, he's not going on. We need somebody else. And I said, look at Jesus. And the dude came in the room and he was like, we need a comedian. And I'll never forget this white lady. She came in the room and she was like, Finesse? I said, that's close enough. That's me. I'm Finesse. And next thing I know, I was on TV. I called my mom. I'm from Atlanta. Okay. So it was being shot in Atlanta. And I called my family. I said, Mom, I'm going to be on Comic View. And, you know, Comic View would take your jokes and chop them up into different segments. And I had such a, broad range of jokes that they were playing me a lot in all these different segments. So I got popular really quick. And at the time, no social media, right? Mm-hmm. Barely had cell phones. So at the time, there was no social media. You had to find talent on TV to say, I want to work with that talent. It wasn't that you can just go on Instagram and do skits and dance on TikTok. None of that exists. So when I saw myself on TV, I was like, it's LA time, baby. Time to go to LA.
I made it.
And that's what happened.
Time to work. Got on Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are, and every now and then we name drop here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be name dropping about how cool we are as soon as you leave.
Absolutely.
So Sarah Silverman was on.
Yes.
She talked about.
Sarah Silverman came on your show?
Yeah, man. Out in the hall. Sarah Silverman, Tracy Morgan. We had all the folks on there.
Tracy was on your show?
He was on the
Tracy
show.
Morgan was here.
Tracy was a little aggressive.
I believe it.
He was. Good dude. But he started off making it very clear that I'm setting up the rules of this discussion.
You're lucky to be in my presence, Bill. You don't call no shots here. Not for the next 6 minutes. No, that's how.
That was real.
Yeah, the first thing he told me, because all the comedians got together when he was leaving SNL and they was looking for the new black guy. That's literally how it went through the whole comedy
Only like
world.
One or two.
They were looking for the new black guy to replace Tracy. So we all called each other we was all looking for that job. I called Kevin Hart called D-Ray, we called Tony Rock called Chris Rock called Tracy. He called us all back on the three-way on a group call. He said, the spot is open. It's first come, first serve. But you can never be Papa Bear. You can only be Baby Bear. And I was like, what? So you'll never be Papa Bear. You can only be Baby Bear. I was like, what does that even mean? Pay attention, Febreze. I was like, who is Febreze? I'm dropping knowledge. And I was like, what? So yeah, but go ahead. So
I don't even remember the question. So
yes.
Sarah Silverman talked about getting fired from SNL pretty quickly, or not having contract renewed or whatever. And it was a devastating thing.
Happens to a lot of us.
Well, but then, was kind of the thing that said, okay, I woke up the next day, I still have a career, I can still go forward. You've talked about not being on SNL. You've talked about the 1 or 2 black people on SNL at a time. What was that experience like for you?
I loved it because at the time I didn't know anything. I didn't know sketch comedy. I just knew that I was funny. I had a joke at the time. The reason they picked me is because I had this joke that was standing people up at the time. And it was, I don't know if you remember the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Mm-hmm. So it was about how black people found out for the first time that movie had subtitles. So we were not happy when we found out we had to read for 2.5 hours. So I was doing this bit.
Just me.
No, bro. I was doing this bit. And that's how the character Starkeisha came about. Because I was at the Magic Johnson Theater, and I heard this girl going, you know how we feel about karate movies. We love karate, like Wu-Tang. We love karate movies.
Right.
So we all was in there, and she was having a birthday party inside the theater. So I'm from Georgia. This is my first time in the LA theater. I didn't know you could have a birthday cake inside of a movie theater. That's the first time I seen that. They had candles lit. They were singing happy birthday. We were like, so I'm sitting back there like, okay, this is different. The movie came on. They're like, it's coming home, it's coming home. They eating popcorn. We gotta read the whole movie. That's messed up. I took you to see Shrek. I didn't take you to no exam. I gotta read the whole. So I did this whole. Saturday night, I was like, "We want fitness," and I was like, "Who is? That's close enough. That's me." And that's how I got the show, man. And so, just knowing that they picked me out of every comedian who was looking for a job. It just meant a lot. They picked Keenan. Keenan is the longest running cast member on Saturday Night Live in history. He's going on his 23rd year, I believe. And just so, and you just take your opportunities as they come, because we all said, oh, we're going to do 4 years. We're going to treat it like college and we're going to bounce. Well, I treated it like real college. I did 3 and bounced.
I got 3 and they didn't invite me back.
Yeah, they didn't invite me back. Just like the University of Miami. But I'm like, Sarah, I'm like, what's next? But then, like I said, my phone started ringing, and it was just like, hey, I'm a big fan. I want to know if you're available to do my movie. And I'm like, okay. Do I get to keep my clothes on? They was like, yes, you do. I said, oh, I'm all right. I can do it. You know what I mean? And next thing I know, I did like 3 movies back to back, and I felt really good about, there's life after Saturday Night Live, because you do go through a depression. Yeah. It's not until somebody says you're not returning where you're like, no, I was saving my best stuff. And it was like, yeah, you should have done that day one, So there are a lot of comedians coming off of that show, a lot of sketch players coming off of that show that even if they had a good 8-year run, they still leave like, yeah.
Yeah, because it's you ascend to that level, and I would imagine it had to feel, even if you got great things lined up afterwards, it would have to feel like, at least for the moment, like, wow, I'm no longer on
Saturday Night Live. And then they bring in Jay Farrow.
He's another person who made fun of me.
He did?
Yeah. He said, what did he say? He said something about my hair. I look like
I was your hair.
An old R&B group.
Like you wear your do-rag inside out. Like, I like it. Yeah. Like it lays down, but not all the way.
Yeah, he said I look like I should have been in the Temptations movie.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Bill.
Who's in the room laughing? But you brought comedy with you?
That's Quail from the Punchline.
People off camera laughing at my hair.
When we walked in, she whispered, he looked like he went to private school. That's what she said. That's what she said, I said it's the blazer.
Coming up next, Finesse shares how some of his more painful moments were actually pretty good for our show.
I just found out I lost a role to Tim Meadows.
He was here too.
Was he? Jeez. This place is a rest haven for SNL alums.
So I feel like we've done some of the comedy show while we've been sitting here giving people more than just a little taste.
You sit in the front row with a blazer on. I'm coming at you. I just want to let you know, Philly. I love everybody.
But I took the shots for them. So now y'all know kind of what's coming. You should go ahead and participate.
I got plenty more. I love stand-up comedy. I'm one of the best at it. And I love the fact that I went through Saturday Night Live and I made those connections. A lot of the writers are the biggest showrunners in Hollywood right now. Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of the cast members, I just reached out to Jason Sudeikis the other day, and he hit me back. He was like, "What's up?" I was like, "Man, it's time for a Finesse and Jason play date." And it was crickets after that. But you know, I had an amazing cast. You know, Maya Rudolph, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Bill Hader, Andy Samberg, Jason Sudeikis, Kristen Wiig came in and just took the top off the place.
Yeah, y'all are all still cool?
Yeah, everybody's still cool. I don't necessarily talk to the big megastars. There's some people that's just like, you know. But I talk to the people I was cool with, you know. It's like a fraternity, you know. I just found out I lost a role to Tim Meadows.
He was here too.
Was he? Jeez. This place is a rest haven for SNL alums. If you got fired, come see Bill. He'll fit you for a blazer.
No, it's not just them. Like we said, Michael Blackson was here. Cedric the Entertainer was here.
Michael Blackson can't spell SNL. I ain't talking about Michael Blackson. I'm talking about all these SNL people.
I'm looking at the wall trying to see who else, like what other name we could throw out there.
Bill Bellamy.
Yeah, Bill Bellamy.
Now Bill Bellamy, big shout out to Bill Bellamy. He was the first person to take me on the road in L.A. One thing about getting a break before social media came, you had to have somebody vet you, vouch for you, you know. And Bill was one of those comedians that was like, "Yo, Finesse, you funny. You know what? You want to open up for me?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I did a lot of cities with Bill, and then when I got Saturday Night Live, one day he came to me and he said, "You know what? You good?" And I was like, "Thank you." He said, "No, you good. Like, this is it." And I was like, "Oh, wow." But I had understood now, looking back, like, oh yeah, I shouldn't be featuring anymore because that's what he was saying. You're good.
Okay, you're ready.
You're ready.
Okay.
And what's great about Bill is that he gives those opportunities to other comedians. Ali Sadiq, and Ali's blowing up right now. A whole bunch of different comedians have traveled with Bill. So he's one of those gracious comedians that's like, you got talent, you come on the road with me, whatever happens, happens. And it was so funny because when they called me like a year later, they was just like, "I'm laying in bed, I hear this voice." I'm like, "That sound like Finesse. What you doing on Saturday Night Live? I never would have fired you if I knew you was going to get Saturday Night Live." I was like, "You fired me?" You just said?
Right, I thought you were propping me up, moving me on to the next
But
thing.
yeah, man. So yeah, shout out to Bill.
Coming up, some harsh advice he received from a really unlikely source.
"Did you want to make it in this business?" He said, "You got to be mean as a snake. You got to be mean." And he was that guy that's just like,
Yeah. We got to wrap. You got places to go. You got to go to the airport.
I got to get my luggage.
Last two things that we do with everybody. You talked
Yes.
earlier about some of the charity work you do, making money, helping people out. Mm-hmm. What's your role? We focus on that and give people a chance to shout out the things that are important to them.
Just as far as like giving back,
Yeah.
man, I love working with the youth. As you know, well, as you can see, I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, headquarters here in Philly. So shout out to all the Kappas that shall be in the building this weekend. You better, or I'm joining Sigma. No, I don't think you can do it like that. But I love working with kids. I love working with at-risk kids. I love working with any kids. I just love just giving back. I love being a mentor. I love my niece lost her mom to breast cancer, so I love doing stuff for breast cancer charities and just awareness, and I just love being a good guy. A lot of people say, "Finesse, you're a good guy," and sometimes that isn't, you know, it's not propped up like it should in Hollywood. You know what I mean? A lot of the aggressive people, you know, a lot of the people who aren't good guys. I met Jerry Lewis. You remember Jerry Lewis? I met Jerry Lewis on the set of Conan O'Brien when I was my first late night appearance was Conan O'Brien, and he was the first guest. And he came in my room and he said, "I've seen you on Saturday Night Live." You know how Jerry Lewis was. But then he was like, "Did you want to make it in this business?" He said, "You got to be mean as a snake. You got to be mean." And he was that guy that's just like,
Yeah.
But this whole personality just switched, and he was like, you gotta just fight for everything. You just gotta be me and say, because people take advantage of you. And I never forgot that conversation. And I said to myself when he left, I don't want to be mean.
I don't want to do that. Yeah.
And 20 years later, I realized he was right. I wasted 10 years.
I don't feel like that's the empowering message we want to leave people with.
Yes. I'll see you at the punchline, guys.
Next, listen, we're friends now, so he gave me some sincere, heartfelt advice to help my career.
When you see a black man in a blazer and you don't think that blazer is appropriate, you try to tell him, hey, make a different fashion choice tomorrow. There's always tomorrow.
The final statement for everyone on this show that you just completely messed up is the concept of use your voice for good. We ask everybody who is here what use your voice for good means to them.
Using your voice for good to me means when you see a black man in a blazer and you don't think that blazer is appropriate, you try to tell him, hey, make a different fashion choice tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. You screwed up today, but tomorrow is a different day. Now, my luggage apparently is at the airport, and one of my blazers is missing. And if I find it, I'm gonna send that to you because we wear the same size.
Your purple blazer.
My purple blazer. You know what I mean? But that's me using my voice for good. Is to see people in the business that have nice hair, nice thick eyebrows. You know what I'm saying? There's a Sesame Street character with the eyebrows, Bill, that you have. But those eyebrows say confidence. They say I am a TV host or a judge or a bailiff. Anyway, that's me encouraging people to continue in their path because I see you with your own setup, not just some girl in an iPhone. I see you big time. I see you like big time, like real lights shining on you. This is microwave lights. This is popcorn lights. But my vision for you is just like the Sherry Shepherd show and Bill.
She was here
you know
too.
what I mean? Yeah. See? See, that's your thing. You're bringing in the big people, but you're the big person. Remember that. And that's what I'm going to end on.
That's a good place to stop. Stop right there. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
You got it, Bill. FinesseMitchell.com. Y'all DM me on Instagram or Facebook. I don't check Facebook, but DM me on Instagram if y'all want these free tickets to the Punchline Philly.
Yes.
Friday, Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Yes. And you are invited, sir.
I ain't coming.
Oh man, I should have been recording that. Please send me that little part.
Guys, thanks so much for watching The Pulse with Bill Anderson. Today with Finesse Mitchell, I am pretty sure that is the most that I laughed throughout an interview with any of the guests that we've had on. He was fun, he was thoughtful, he shared his experiences, just a good time. And I hope you enjoyed it. A reminder, with everything that you saw, there is still more on the podcast. So make sure you download all places where podcasts are available. And you can head over to Fox Local, where all of our shows are right there at your fingertips. It was fun. So go back and watch it again. Why not? I leave you today, as I always do, reminding you whenever you can, use your voice for good and have a good one.